Welcome to the first TeaCosyFolk vlog of 2026. Hey, and Happy New Year! It takes a while, doesn't it, for the 2026 to kind of get in your brain. I'm not quite, I have to keep practicing it a bit because I keep thinking 2025 because it's not anymore. Anyway, there's lots to show you. I've got projects that are up and coming and that I'm working on at the moment, and I've also got the hamburger tea cozy, and I've got more news about simply knitting, and I want to talk to you about the subscription, and I've got a knitting tip. So I've got all these things to get through, so I'm going to start straight away, and I'm going to talk about the subscription first. Now, in the past 3 years I've had a calendar for TeaCosyFolk, and the past 2 years they've been knitting pattern calendars, you know, with a little knitting pattern on the back to knit a Terry's Chocolate Orange Cosy. So you've got a new project every month. Well, this year I've not done a calendar, a physical calendar, but what I have done is done a year's subscription. So you sign up and you can download a knitting pattern on the first of the month every month, and they're all for little Terry's Chocolate Orange Cosies. And I've done this because, you know, it's quite difficult sending things through the post and shipping abroad, and things go missing, and it's just, I don't know, I found it really restrictive because I've got to get all my knitting pattern onto the back of an A4 calendar, you know, on the pages, on the back. So I was restricted to the amount of detail I could put in each cosy. But now, you know, some of the patterns are 3 and 4 pages because now I can write as much as I want, which is brilliant for me because that means I can get a more detailed cozy and you can download it. So on the first of the month you can log in and download the next pattern. So, and they're kicking off on the 1st of January, which has gone already, but if you joined the subscription today, the 1st of January's pattern would be there ready for you to download. So just log in to the members area and you'll see it, the first one, which is the Giraffe in a Scarf Chocolate Orange Cosy. So that's about the subscription. So if you want to join the subscription and have the fun of a new knitting pattern on the 1st of every month, I'll put the details down below. Go and check it out. There's a one-off fee, and then all that year, all the 2026, you'll get the pattern, and it won't renew automatically or anything like that. It's just this 1 year. That's all you're committed to. So anyway, that's that. I'll put the details down below. This is a tea cozy I was working on before Christmas, and this is as far as I've got. And this is, you know, all the design part of the tea cozy finished. So I thought I'd put some little lights embroidered onto the side of the ship, and yeah, and that's Titanic, and it's sinking, and the 4 rows at the bottom here are worked in, I suppose, Fair Isle. You know, you've got 2 strands, so it's only 4 rows, it's not hard. And actually this month's tip will be showing you how to do the lettering on the tea cozy because I thought that would be appropriate and helpful. But so this is the tea cozy, and you know, it's kind of stood on a plinth and the sea is above, and here's the iceberg. They always have a bright blue bit at the bottom, don't they? I suppose it's where it's reflecting the water. And then Titanic sinking, and there's 3 funnels. Of course there was 4 on Titanic, but the other one's already in the water. And that's my Titanic tea cozy, and it's nearly ready. I'm doing the test knit part now just to see if I wrote it all down correctly, and then yeah, and then it'll be almost ready. I can't remember what date it's supposed to hit the website. I'll have a look and put it in the notes down below because and then you'll know when it's going to go live. But yeah, this is Titanic. I do like it actually. I just like history, so anything that's historical, I enjoy that. I like it. But and there's texture on the sea to look like waves. So you know, it's not just boring knitting. It's nice when it's a bit interesting, isn't it? So that's Titanic. Do you remember the hamburger tea cosy? Oh, I don't think it's hamburger, I think it's cheeseburger because it's got cheese on it. It's a cheeseburger. Do you remember the cheeseburger tea cosy? It was in Simply Knitting 7 months ago, so in the summer, and it's a big fat cheeseburger with lettuce, tomatoes and cheese. Anyway, I've got a video to show you. Here it is. And so this was a tea cosy that was first in Simply Knitting magazine, and you know, you can see the burger, 2 burgers and cheese and 2 layers of lettuce, and then a nice sesame seed bun with little seeds on top. And all of the, well, most of the cosy is all knitted in one part. Well, you have to knit the lettuce separately and the cheese separately, and then as you're working up the burger, you're told to hold the lettuce in front of the work and knit from 2 needles, and so it knits them together, so it's really stretchy because you know it's got to pull onto the teapot. So knitting them to join them is better than sewing them, because the sewing is very restrictive, it stops movement, whereas knitting makes it really good and stretchy for the teapot. And it's really easy. It sounds complicated perhaps if you've never done it before, but actually it's really easy. And I'll put a link to the video down below, the help video, because it shows you how to do it. You know, it's perhaps not especially for that tea cosy, but it's the same technique. So I'll show you that video in the links below so you can go and chase that up. But it's a lovely tea cosy, and I've seen people out there who have already knitted it and put pictures up, and it looks fantastic. And if you've knitted any of my knitting patterns and want me to find them, if you put #TeaCosyFolk, I can find them usually then, you know, they pop up and I get to see them. And I love seeing them because it's just lovely to see other people's work. And it's really brilliant, and I love it, you know, because sometimes you put different colours in. I suppose you're using, you know, what you've got to hand, or you think, oh, I don't like the colour she's chosen, and you choose something else. And it's just lovely to see the different colour combinations. I love it. So do hashtag me in, just #TeaCosyFolk, and then I can find things. But yeah, so if you want to knit the hamburger, it's a cheeseburger. And if you want to knit the cheeseburger tea cosy, the knitting pattern is going to be on the website on the 15th of January 2026. See, I'm practicing again. But yeah, so it'll be on there, and it'll be a digital download, so you'll be able to download it and knit it. And oh, I've had some exciting news this week. Simply Knitting have been in touch and asked me to design 3 more tea cosies for the Simply Knitting magazine during the course of 2026. It's turning out to be a fantastic year. I'm loving it. So I can't tell you anything about the tea cosies yet, but as I can, I'll definitely be telling you and showing you what it's all about. But there's 3 tea cosies, and I can't remember when the first one is in. I know the last one should be in the magazine in August, so you know, it's the other 2 will be before that. So yeah, so fun times over this year, so I'm looking forward to that, and I will keep you posted all about the designs and how they look as and when I'm allowed to. But I am sworn to secrecy, which is very difficult for me. This is another tea cosy I'm working on at the moment, and she's called the Pancake Day Lady Tea Cosy. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And look, I'm designing her for Shrove Tuesday, which is early this year, typical, isn't it? I think because it coincides with when Easter is, and then it's so many days before. Anyway, Easter's early, so therefore the start of Lent is early. So Pancake Day, I think, is the 17th of February this year. I think that's right. I'll check and put it down below. I'll check, but I'm sure that's right. It's something like that anyway. But I know that I'm pushed for time, so I really need to get cracking. And this is as far as I've got. This is her body, and I've got her in, you know, the old-fashioned pinnies from the 1930s. I'm kind of, I don't know, I just thought I like old-fashioned. So I thought I'd put her in a pinny. So instead of just the ties at the back, you know, it comes over her shoulders and meets the waistband at the back. And in this hand, she's going to have a frying pan with a pancake in it that she's cooking. And in this hand, I thought she could have a plate of pancakes all stacked up. So she's got one arm up and one arm down. And I'm just working on her hair at the moment because her head's getting cold. But she's coming along. She's not far off done. So she's got Anti Wobble Head Technology. Let me just show you. Look. So, you know, if you've never knitted a tea cosy with the Anti Wobble Head Technology, it's brilliant. It stops heads wobbling. And this one's not sewn on. And also, when you are putting the heads on, it's good if you put your finger inside the stabiliser and then stick it in the head, because otherwise the stabiliser kind of crumbles under the weight of the head. But look, she's firmly on now. And bearing in mind it's not sewn at all, look, that's brilliant, isn't it? You know, so with some stitches as well, that is going to be super secure. So if you've not knitted a tea cosy with a head stabiliser, this will be your chance. But I don't know when she's going to be done yet, but really I want her on the website before the end of January, because if it is the 17th of February, that'll only give you a couple of weeks to knit her for yourself. So that's what I'm aiming for, so fingers crossed. So that's that. That's the Pancake Day Lady Tea Cosy. We've come to that part of the vlog where I show you a knitting tip. Thank you for that fanfare. And as I said earlier, the knitting tip is the lettering on the Titanic tea cosy, and it's done across 4 rows and it's done across 28 stitches, and you only need 2 colours. There's only black and white, so it's going to be a doddle. You're going to love it. I'm going to show you how to do it and then you can have a go. So this is the knitting chart to knit the word Titanic into the knitting. And oh, I've got my yarn here. It's a bit of a mess. So that's the first part of the tea cosy, the bottom bit, and that's the start of the plinth. This is the black. Now it's better to pull some of the yarn off so you don't have to tug at the ball, because it'll affect the tension, and if you're knitting in colour it already affects the tension. So this it's a lot of ends. Now that's that, and here's my white yarn. Oh, I had the ends somewhere. Oh, there's one. Where's the other one? So there might be too much white taken off the ball, but the ball has kind of started dropping to bits. You know how they do. So anyway, we're going to work with it. So this is my white yarn, and I've got to start on the next row putting in these 4 rows. So I'm just going to tie it. I can secure it properly later, and that's that. So the white's added, ready to go. Right now the word Titanic has got to fit onto there like that. So as you're reading the row, you're reading this way. But this is the knit row. Odd goes that way, even is that way, because that'll be a purl row. So here we go. So it starts off to knit 2 in black. Easy. Knit 2 in black. There we go. And then I've got to knit 2 with the white yarn. So I'm going to knit 2 with white, but I don't want to leave floaters all along the back because they catch on things. Floaters are like, I'll just show you what a floater looks like. Right, so that's what a floater looks like. it's a loop at the back, and you know, every time you do a few stitches together, you'll end up with a floater like this, and it just catches on things, and I don't like it, so I never have floaters at the back. I weave the carried yarn in as I'm working, so I'll show you how to do that. So you go in as though you're going to knit. This is my black yarn, and I hold it over there out the way. Now, if you look, this yarn that I'm working with is going under my black yarn. So when I knit, it's caught it at the back and held it into place. And now I've got to do 2 whites. So I'll swap the white one up there, holding it out the way. And then I'll knit 1 in black. And it's caught the yarn because the yarn was under it. But now I want the yarn to go over it. So I pop it in there, and look, the yarn will cross again. And it goes round. I'm not putting the white in the work, look. It's just catching it in. And it's caught it at the back. So it's neat. And it holds it all in. So I've done the 2 black there. And now I've got to do 1 white on its own. Now, if you've only got 1 stitch on its own, what you can actually do is keep the whites that are going to be the working yarn, and you can go in and pluck it like that, because it's just quicker. Now I've got to do a black stitch, and now it's white again, so I'll just pluck it. Now I've got to do 2 stitches, and this 1 black, and then I've got to catch that. See, the first stitch, it didn't matter because it was just there. That's fine. But this one, I need to catch that white yarn in. And if I just do a stitch now, I'll end up with a floater. Look, it's not caught it. So you have to kind of, it's weaving because it goes under and over the working yarn. And had I got more stitches on a run to show you, I could, you know, perhaps show you better the under-over technique. You know, it would be a better example of the under-over. But unfortunately, I've only got 2. I've got three, couple of 3s, and that's about it. But anyway, look, this is going to go over the white and complete the stitch. Hold the white out the way because I don't want the white showing at the front. And there's that. So here I've got the bottom of the C, the I, and the first leg of the N. And now I've got to do the next leg of the N, which will be a plucked stitch. So just pluck that one. Then work another stitch. Then I've got the 2 legs of the A. So 1, and then the black, and then pluck it again. Those pluck ones are really quick and easy, aren't they? Look, brilliant. And then I've got to do 2 stitches in black. Now look, because it's not caught in yet, so I've put it in the middle there, ready to, so this one goes over and catches that first stitch in. And then the next one, look, it'll cross it anyway. See? Crosses over and holds it in. And now there's the first T, so we'll pluck that stitch. Then I've got to do 2 again, weave in that yarn in at the back. 1, 2, and then I pluck 1, 2 again, 1, 2, and pluck 1. You know, you can leave the floaters at the back if you like. Right, so I'm at the end now, so I'm going to just leave the white yarn there because that's where it needs to be on the next row back. You do have to kind of check, you know, where it is. This one I will have to make an allowance because it's not going to finish here, it'll finish on this stitch, so I'll need to bring that yarn over. I'll show you that in a moment. But you do have to kind of read ahead. Right, so that's the first row complete. Right, the next row, so we're starting here and working our way back. So row 2 is all done in pearls. And the carrying the yarn is a bit different with pearls. So purl 3. Now this last stitch, you know, it's a bit tricky at the moment. It's dependent on the needle to keep the right size for that stitch. As soon as it comes off, if you pull this too tight, that stitch will be turned to, I don't know, half its size perhaps. It'll be minuscule and you won't be able to see it, and the tension will look wrong on the front of the work. So what we do is, if we twist here, it helps to keep the tension, because now that stitch won't, look, even if I pull this, it's not affecting that stitch anymore, and it holds it tight and stops holes forming. So we purl that one, and now I want that one out the way because I've got to knit 2. So that was one stitch and it's not caught that white yarn in, but the next one has, look, I've caught that white yarn in. And then that'll be the eye. And now I'm back to the black for the space in between. And now the next T. And the yarn's there ready. And it's all neatly, look, it's all trapped in together. There's no floaters, no loops to catch on anything else. Here, oh, we're coming up for the A. There's 2 stitches. I need to put that there, so I cross it. And now the A. So there's 1. Oh, it's 3 on the A because we're on row 2. Look. So the black needs to stay up so I can trap it in. See? So that's trapped. That's the A. And now we're on to the N, which is 1 white, then 1 black, and then 2 white. 1, 2. And then they are the same as below. Oh, the C isn't, is it? So there's 1, and then the I, and then 1 more black one, and then it's the backbone of that C. And my yarn's getting very knotty. So what you can do here to alleviate the knottiness is I want to use the white, but look, you see that twist, and I'm forcing it up to the top. So when I knit with that, it's took some of the mess out of the bottom bit down here, and you can do that again. It's it does help with the knots in your yarn. Look, my knots are all undone now, look. So it helps with the knots in the yarn, but also, you know, when you twist the yarns together, it stops holes forming. So it's not a bad thing, but I doubt you would get holes from this anyway, because there's not big gaps. Right, so that's row 2 done. And you can just see the A starting to form. I love it when you can start to see the things forming. It just looks fab, doesn't it? It comes together like magic. Right, so now I'm on row 3 and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 black before I get to the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to put my white on my finger again for a bit of plucking. So I pluck that one, that's the back of the C. And 1 black, 1 white, pluck it again, that's the I. Pluck again, and now I'm plucking for the N. And there's 1 black one Now there's 2 white ones, so I need to catch this in. The white is starting to be naughty. So knit 1 and then bring that black over the top so that white one catches it in. That's it. And now I'm going to put the yarns back so this one's ready for plucking and that one's there for doing all the work. So the A. So I do one of those and I'm plucking. That's the centre hole in the A, and that plucks the other side of the A. Now 2 black stitches, weaving the white in. Look, I'm going to put that in there, weave it in. That's it. And now pluck in the T. And this is the space between. Pluck the I. And the space, weave that in. Look, I'm just catching that under there and plucking this. Now, this is the row where when I come back, this stitch needs to be white. So I want to take the white across, ready to catch that one in. So it's just the same as, you know, when you're catching them in. So you come along, that's not caught there, look. But the next one I do has caught that white. Now that white will be ready to come back for this stitch. See? It's right where I need that yarn to be. I finish this row. That's it. Let's have a little look, see how it's looking. I can see the A, and there's the N coming in, and the C. If you don't like how some of the stitches look, you can fiddle with them. Look, that stitch doesn't look very neat there, but give it a tug. There, and it looks better. That's it. Right, last row. Here we go. Right, so there's 2 pearls, and then we start with the white. So I'll move the black out the way, and I do 1, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to go under there, so I catch the black 2, and now the blacks, I'm not going to catch that if I purl there, so I need to move it to the other side of the needle, and now it'll catch in there. And now 1 black, 1 white. So I've just done the eye, and now I need 1 black for the space. And now I'm here now, so I've got 3 whites for the top of the next T. So I move the black out of the way and do the first stitch, 1. Then I come in and come under, and the black yarn's on this side and the white will trap it in, 2. But now the black's on the wrong side, it won't trap in there. Look, it won't trap that. So I need to put the black on that side of the needle, and then it traps it in again. So that's my 3 whites. And now I've got 2 blacks. 1, 2 blacks. My knitting needles keep banging on the table. I don't usually knit in this position. 1 white and 2 blacks again. 1, 2, and I'm catching the white in. And this is the top of my N. 1 white, out the way, 1, 2 blacks, and then a white. That's the N complete. Now 1, that's the last I, and there's 2 blacks, 1, but look, that'll be in the wrong place. So I need to carry that over because I've got these 2 whites after this one here. So I'm moving the yarn so it'll be queued up, ready for those last 2 white stitches. 1, move the yarn, 2, all tracked in, and then finish the row. Good. And there it is, the word Titanic. I'm going to do one more plain black row so it gets off the needle so you can see it. But also I want to show you, you know, I was saying about the only thing that's keeping the stitch formed there was the knitting needle. We've got that scenario again now. This stitch, the only thing that's keeping it correct, look, it's just loose. The only thing that's keeping it correct is this knitting needle. So pull it around the knitting needle so it's as it would be, and then twist this yarn just a couple of times. That's it, that's enough. Now that stitch can't move. So it'll keep its tension. Right, this is another top hack. If you don't want to have to sew all the ends in, you can weave them in as I was weaving before, and it will hold in and you won't have to sew it. So look, this is that. Can you see it's weaving in? Right, so now I can cut that yarn and I won't have to sew it in and it won't come undone. Brilliant. And that's much better than having to, you know, when you have all those ends at the back and you have to sew them in. And it depends how many, you know, different yarns you've had to add, or I haven't got any scissors with me at the moment. If you've got lots of different colour changes, you'll have lots and lots of ends, and it just seems to take forever. And because all those little bits of yarn that you have to cut off as well, and they end up in the bin. So, but with this, you know, I've already sewn it in, so I can cut that quite close and it'll be fine. Less wastage. So I'm just getting to the end of my row. Right. And there it is, Titanic, written in. And so what have I done? I've just done 5 rows there because I did the black one as well. But, you know, I know it looks daunting when you first start, and if you've never done it before, it does look daunting. And if you have tried before and find it really difficult, you know, you're probably thinking, oh, I don't want to do that again. But, you know, everybody feels like that to start off with. It is daunting because it's something quite tricky. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, you know. And I've tried to tell you the tips that I use to do it, to make it easier. So, you know, maybe if you can keep some of those in mind as you're knitting your little Titanic word, maybe they'll help, you know, and you'll find it an easier experience than previously. But, you know, don't let it hold you back. Do have a go. And if you want to make the Titanic tea cozy but don't want to do this technique, you can always just knit it in black and then Swiss darn over the top. Or you could use chain stitch to write the letters on. Or you could just leave it black. But there are other ideas, so it's up to you. I'll leave that with you. That's this month's tip. Another little project I'm working on is kind of in the design phase at the minute. I'm kind of, you know, gearing up to what I think I'm going to do. But I want to make a hot water bottle cover, and the hot water bottle cover is going to be space themed, you know, so lots of spacey things, planets, and I don't know, a space rocket taking off. And do you know, another thing that I really love is Frank Sinatra. I just think, oh, I could listen to him all the time. His voice is like velvet, isn't it? And I love the songs, and they're just, you can just sing along, can't you? They're so easy to listen to and to sing along with. I love them. I think he's brilliant. So I kind of thought that my hot water bottle cover, I'm going to, because it'll all be done in intarsia, but I thought I would have the slogan, "Fly me to the moon," written on it. Because I just think that'd be really nice. It ties in with the space thing, but it's kind of romantic and lovely as well at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a hot water bottle cover with "Fly me to the moon" written on it and some space things around it. And I've been making this little motif, and this is my moon. So you see, because I'm practicing my, you know, how things work, because I don't know, you know, when you draw, it doesn't turn out like that because stitches are taller than they are wide. They're not proper squares. They're, you know, rectangles. So sometimes, you know, because it's a round moon, sometimes you have to practice first to make sure that it's going to turn out to look like it is. And this is my moon, because it says "Fly me to the moon" on it. So it's got to have a moon, hasn't it? You know. And I thought I'd have a little rocket flying as well. I thought that would be, because it goes, doesn't it? You know. So anyway, so these are just things in my mind at the moment. I'm going to do a sketch, and I'll put a page on the blog all about it. I'll do that in the next few days, but this is you hearing about it while it's still in my mind, in my woolly head. And I'm going to knit it all in Aran because it makes a bit thicker, grows quicker, and it stops your feet from getting burnt quite so much. So I've got two different balls of Aran here. They're both Stylecraft Special Aran, which is what I will be using. And this one's called Empire, and this one's called Denim. So, and I'm not sure which I want to use, because I suppose this perhaps looks more sky-like. This one looks less sky-like, but you know, when you see it next to other colours, it really pops, doesn't it? Look, I'll show you this one against this one. Look, does it look as poppy? I think the Empire looks brighter, doesn't it? I don't know which I like best. Which do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Empire or Denim? Which do you think's best? Let me know. Tell me what you think. But yeah, so that's what's brewing in my mind. So if you're thinking you need a new hot water bottle cover, hang on for a few weeks until I get Fly Me to the Moon made, and then you can make a Fly Me to the Moon. And I've decided as well, it's not going to have any fastenings. You know, when you put buttons on hot water bottles, they come undone at night, don't they? And the buttons are cold and hard, and I don't like them on my feet. So I'm going to do it so there's no fastenings at all, and you roll the hot water bottle up like this and feed it down the neck of the hot water bottle and then open it out. Did you get that? I'll show you when it's all made. I'll show you how to do it. But I just think it'd be nicer without fastenings, because I don't know, they're not very nice in bed, are they? Zips are unkind as well, aren't they, with the little metal tabs at the end. And Velcro just makes a fuzzy wuzzy mess of your knitting. So I don't know what else is there. Press studs, I suppose. And I don't like it, you know, when the hot water bottle becomes exposed, because then when you touch it, you burn your foot. But also it's losing heat because it's come undone at night, you know. So I'm going to make a hot water bottle cover without any fastenings. So none of those problems will ever happen. So watch this space for the Fly Me to the Moon hot water bottle cover. Anyway, that's all I've got to show you for this month. And I suppose it's not a lot, it doesn't feel like I've done much this month, but we had Christmas in the middle, didn't we? And, you know, and then I suppose before Christmas comes, you're kind of going a bit slower anyway, because it's like, oh, it's Christmas, I don't want to do as much. And then after Christmas, it takes a while to get back in the swing of things, doesn't it? So, you know, getting up and doing the work and getting through it all, it just feels harder than it used to. Maybe it's just that I'm getting old. Anyway, that's what I've got to show you this month, and I'll be with you again in February when I will have the Pancake Day Lady all finished, and I will have this finished, and that will be finished. All the projects will be finished, and I'll be working on something new for February. So have a good January, and I'll see you soon. Take care.